Thank you so much. And this is my debut with the SANS. And I'm still having that jet lag after 10-hour plus flight. So I hope I can able to manage that. So my talk is mainly regarding the detection and remediation playbook in GCP. And why GCP? Because we have in SAP, we talk about as a company, which is like a number one in the ERP, we have like a concept called 4+1, where we use GCP, we use Azure, we use Google Cloud, Ali, as well as we have our own SAP cloud called the Converge Cloud. So this is gonna be mainly on the GCP because the line of business where I work currently, it's mainly the GCP shop. And who am I? Security professional with the close to a decade of experience. It's a more on like a born and brought up in security. I mean, not from the college time, and currently working with the SAP, and it's a line of business called the ISBN, the Intelligent Spend and Business Network. And when you hear the word intelligent spend, you always comes with a thing like you need to put a lot of those emphasis on the intelligence and machine learning and those stuffs and all. We're gonna talk about that. And I'm mainly interested into the cloud and DevSecOps for now, because those are the area where we spending a lot of time on how we can evolve the tool, how we can make sure that we are putting all the security there in the cloud as well as the DevOps space. I'm also interested into the AI and ML space. That's something I'm still exploring what other things we can do it there, and make sure that whatever the security controls we have there in our traditional monolithic application development, or maybe the DevOps thing, how we can use that into the AI. But that is something I'm still learning at. And big cricket fan. I mean, there's no secret when you come from India, you where the cricket is a religion, and you always grown up in your street with the following cricket, playing that in the street, and that's what I do. Coming to the next one, in this talk, I'm gonna cover the introduction of the things, what about the detection and remediation playbook, what all the uses of that, and then I'll pick up one of these problem what we have seen in our environment. And when you talk about the cloud, it's comes with a lot of flexibility, but it also comes with a lot of problem. And when you are in a dealing with the security in the cloud, you need to make sure that what all things are correctly and properly set up there. And then I also have the one of the solution. I mean, that's the one of the way to solve the problem. People can argue that there is a better way to solve the thing, but in this one, I'm gonna focus the one which we have done in SAP. And then there is a one demo recording as well. I was thought of doing that here, but then I thought, okay, that's always the case when you try to do something demo and with the audience, there might be chances that it didn't work. So I recorded that demo as well for you, and then we'll cover the takeaways. So starting with the introduction, Google Cloud API and the event-driven automation. So when you think about the API, right, the application interface where you talk to the applications, it's just like ordering a coffee, right? When you're looking for the espresso and you go and say, okay, look, I'm looking for the espresso, and then the machine will look for how much the coffee has to put. Maybe if you want to put something milk or sugar or something like that, and it will give you the coffee. That's how the task, you can say in short about the API. When you look for in the Google Cloud, you want to create a bucket, or you want to create a compute instances, and you just log into the console, or maybe you're using a automation. And I think it's also mentioned about the Terraform or any other automation tool what we're using. You go and hit the request and provide all the information what we're looking for, the location, the zone, the size, and everything, and you'll get those delivered to you. And this also about when you as a user go and talk to the Google Cloud through the APIs, or maybe you have a system-to-system integration where you look for the communication between the two systems, make sure that you're putting something in your compute instances, and you want to send that to your GCP bucket, or maybe you want to send that to some other big query or something like that. So that's where also the API helps. And Some of the features, how the people are using it, and this was one of the reason why the SAP has moved to more on the cloud, right? Because it's been because the kind of thing they're doing it, or what we're doing it here, we need to scale it fast because of the requirement from the customer. We're also looking at the how we can evolve and make sure that when the customer is looking for a product, you make sure that you scale your infrastructure as a way that the requirement is coming up. And that's where decided to move more to the 4+1 and spend those things on the cloud side. And talking about the integration part as well, you can also do an integration with your multiple tools, whatever you have in your environment. It's not really that when you have on-prem tools that's not going to work in the cloud. Maybe you have like a Splunk or maybe other thing or other monitoring solutions for the SRE, the service reliability engineer, as well as the security team. Also from the other monitoring solutions as well as other tools, you can do an integration with the help of those APIs. It also provides the access to the services. As I mentioned, you're looking for some services in this cloud. You can always hit that API and you can get those information. And yeah, and the other one is about the security. We've also leveraged that, and how we're gonna leverage that, we're gonna show in the next slide from security point of view. And then the last one is one of data analytics. If you want to build something like a dashboard, or if you want to build something like a correlation of event, because that's what also important when you hit those logs and want to make sure that you get a very beautiful dashboard for your team, maybe for a management reporting. That's where also the analytics and other stuff play a big role. Okay, so about the uses, as I mentioned, if you look at the from team point of view, if you take an example of service reliability engineer, and you want to make sure that when your service is running in the cloud hit that certain threshold, like the CPU utilization has gone up, or maybe your resources is or maybe you have running the Kubernetes services and you are just crossing the threshold, right? So just to make sure that you get an alert in your proper time being, so that you can act on it. Maybe if you have auto scalable, you can also send that message to your cloud functions, and it hit that and it will go to the next one. It also provides the real-time data streaming. If you build the dashboard, you'll get that real-time data streaming, which shows, okay, at this time, what are the activity your resources are doing, and you can monitor those stuffs as well. It also provides the orchestration and automation when you use the other automation tools to try to create resources or try to scale those resources. You also use that through the automation, and you do the authentication and scaling, or maybe creation of resources or deletion of resources, everything through the API. Then also it comes with the enrichment of alert data. It's not really that, whatever you get from the one systems, maybe you want to correlate that and get that meaningful information for your security teams, or maybe your other team. So you can also do that with alert data. Cross-platform communication. As I mentioned, you can also have the communication with other tooling and all. And the most important is like notification and communication, where you say to the team, okay, like this is what is happening with your resources, and you want to make sure that get notified in a proper time frame and get a proper communication. Okay, so coming to the next one, how we can do that. This is like one of the example where the cloud APIs, which will track the resource creation or deletion by generating those audit logs for these activities. So you hit something to the cloud, and whether you're trying to create, trying to delete, or whatever you're trying to do, that you'll get those activity capture. And if you look at the Google Log Explorer in the console, it comes with a lot of the query, and it has like you can refer the Google Docs, where it provides all the information related to what are the resources you are trying to create. So if you look at the first example, which is talking about the GCS bucket logs, And if you look at here, you mentioned the resource type, what you are looking for that. So it's like a GCP bucket. And then you can also mention the bucket name, whatever you have created. And when you put this query into your log explorer, you get the information about that, whatever you're looking for. Same thing for the audit logs as well. If you're looking for the cloud audit logs, which is coming from the cloud audit.googleapi.com, you can also get that information to the log explorer. And you can also try to create you can look for the log real time, and you can also have an options where you can go and look for the like a pattern, or if you want to see for the last 24 hours. So you can adjust the time stamp depending upon which sort of logs you're looking for, and what you're looking for. Then also the point I mentioned, the creation or deletion. So each and everything, whatever you're doing there, that gets audited and that's get recorded, and you can look into those depending upon what you're trying to do. So that's about the log explorer. So this is one of the example. So this is like similar to the resource creation or resource deletions. Have a corresponding event type, such as like a Google Cloud Storage Bucket delete, or maybe something like that. So here you can see that, right? A lot of things goes as a part of those metadata about each and every resource. And I think I just try to expand a bit of one, which is like, when you're using the service name, compute.googleapi.com, and you're trying to create, when you're trying to delete the instance, like compute.instance.delete. And you can look at each and every, if you expand those metadata, you will see that for the operations, we also have a lot of things goes behind that. And then for the authentication information, the authorization information, who is doing that task and who has initiated the task. Then also you can look for the request information, as well as the request metadata, which goes behind the this particular events. And then also you can look for the information, right? Like a resource locations, from where it's happening, which org or which folder. So traditionally, the Google have like a org structures where we have the org, then we have a folder, and if there is a following project behind that. So you can look for all the information there in the metadata, and depending upon what you're trying to do, let's imagine you want to search for only one particular project, like a resource name you want to create for only for one particular, and you want to filter that. So you can add those Boolean expressions using those resource name, and I think you can just query that in the log explorer, will get the log filter for you. So that's a thing you can play with. If you're from the security operations center, you can also like look for the logs, what is really important for your team. Or maybe if you are a service reliability engineer, you can also look for the information, and you can create a meaningful dashboard, or you can look for the events, what's happening there in the Google Cloud. So that's a more on a metadata point of view, which is like an event type. So coming to the real problem or the problem statement. So when we move to the cloud, and the region behind that, you want to move fast. When you build fast, and you come up with a lot of problems, and the security team always need to be like, in a matching positions, where when the team builds something fast, if you're not catching those, it's easy to get into the news. And we have seen problems we have seen a news actually, where somebody has configured that the GCP bucket or any bucket and misconfigured that, or maybe you're putting your keys, people get it that, and you get compromised. So when you try to build fast, you also comes with the consequences of having the security problems. And these are some of the examples you can see here: the violation of the IAM policies, or maybe somebody has a fantasy to create a security group where it says, okay, look, I don't know about the security, I'm going to allow all the ports and all the IPs. So, and it's really hard to explain the team. And I have seen a cases. It's not with the cloud, where it says I was explaining finding about the cross-site scripting, and I went to the product team, and I saw, look, this is what you have with the reflected cross-site, and they come up with saying that, hey, it's a feature. I'm like, okay. Yeah, if you're putting a alert HTML, or if you're putting something into a HTML tag, you'll get it like a pop-up, and this is a functionality we have. So that's quite obvious. When you try to explain the security problems to the non-security person, you always come up with this sort of questions, saying that it's a part of the feature. So it's really hard for the security team looking at the weak SSL policies. As I mentioned, the line of business where I work, the ISBN, Intelligent Spend and Business Network, we deal with a lot of those credit card and the debit card information. If you talk about the Ariba, which is like a B2B, or if you talk about the Concur, which is like a travel management, we also have this the PCI audit, which has to go through, and they deal with a lot of those SSL policies and what about the thing we are looking for, like a weak inscriptions or which standard we are using it. So that was also one of the problem we were having. Even though the PCI says you shouldn't be using the SSL version 3.0, people still 1.0, and sometimes when I think now it's not there in the cloud, but I think the earlier there was option you can select it and create a resources with those weak SSL policies. So that was also a concern. And then coming with the logging activations, people create a resource and they don't want to make sure that the logging is enabled for those. So once the logging is not enabled, then we're going to have a problem because you're not going to track those resource activities, and that will be going to be a problem for us. Coming with another problem, which is like a registry. So when you're working like a hundred of different product teams or the operations team working together, they have like created a repo where they store their information, and somebody have like it's going there and just enable that just to make sure that maybe because they are doing some cross product integration and they try to open up something for the different product and they forget to consider the security problem. So that also comes with the problem. And then the KMS, which is like a key management, which is always a problem, right? Because you try to you're using the same thing for your pipeline, and then you're trying to store your keys into like a HashiCorp or any other tool, whatever you're using it. So these are some of the common problem what we have seen. There are a lot security problems which we deal with, and I think it's like a general problem where each and everyone must have gone through in their daily life. So coming with one of the example, right? Like you're going to create a bucket which is going to publicly open, and this is how it looks like. So if you look at the screenshot, right? It says the pop-up says allow the public access, and sometimes might be right now it's sometimes the people click it on it and you'll get that allow public access. So maybe they don't understand the application flow or maybe the architecture flow, and they're going to allow this public access, which is like part of the secure cloud review, and you'll get your public access to the bucket to the internet. So for the solution point of view, we have like we're going to have argue on what will be the best solutions, the event driven, or maybe you want to use the policy edge code like a open policy agent, or maybe other solutions which you have. And then we have like the CSPM, the cloud portion management, so it's like what will be gonna suit to your environment, because each and every solutions have like how well you can customize it, the cost effectiveness and the support. So if you take an example of open policy agent, it's also you need to understand the Rego policies. The people really had to understand the policies, or maybe if you're using the Kubernetes one, you need to make sure that you understand the policy, you understand the code, and when you try to put that in part of your Terraform pipeline or maybe other automation tool, you need to make sure that the people are understanding that. So I'm going to focus on the event-driven one for this talks, and so this is how the event architecture event flow looks like. So there's a person, and he wants to create some resources into the cloud. So okay, so I thought, okay, let's go and create a bucket or maybe a compute instances in the cloud, and I initiated the request, and then it goes to the log event, and you have your cloud logging API enabled for that event. So the moment the resource created, it goes to the API, and then you have the cloud logging. And after the cloud logging, you're gonna filter the event whatever you're looking for. Like you put the resource type, and then you put that what you're trying to do. So it's like a resource compute instances, and you put that as a resource created. And in the options, you can see in the console, there is an option where you can send entire thing to the PubSub messaging. So PubSub messaging is like one of those functionality in the Google Cloud where you take the event and you you send it to the PubSub, and then you can subscribe to the PubSub like a. If there is any matching event coming to your log explorer, you'll get it into the to the PubSub topic. Now the PubSub topic, there you can create a gonna send that to your cloud function. So imagine there is somebody who wants to create a resources where it's enable the weak SSL policies, and you've the matching events found it, sent to the PubSub, and then from the PubSub you can trigger the cloud function. So maybe you want to and PubSub here you can write the function. So maybe the function says you should block the user for not using the weak encryption, or maybe just auto remediate it. So imagine the user is trying to create a resources with the TLS 1.0, and you don't want to do that. So maybe you say, okay, as per our aggregation policy, we're not gonna let you use for the TLS 1. Anything which is less than 1.2, and you can write that in a Google Cloud Functions. That can be like a PHP, Go, Python, whatever you are comfortable with. And it comes with a lot of those the functionality. And depending upon the matching events, whatever you're trying to do that, the cloud function will pick the message, will look for the information, and then it will go either change the, auto correct those things, auto remediation part, and the function will work accordingly. And also, if you want to send a notifications to the team, like, okay, you did a violations of something which is against the organizational policy, and that's the reason we have auto corrected it or blocked it or something like that. So this is the demo recording. Here, what I'm gonna do that, we'll try to create an instance. We'll look for the log explorer, the metadata. We filter the event what we are looking for, and then we'll in the cloud functions we are trying. So I think this is more on a golden image where the team will try to create an image which is not gonna matching to our environment. Our corporate policy saying that we shouldn't be using. We should always use the latest image, and if the person is not using the latest image, that will get blocked. So I'm gonna start the demo. So let's see. Right now the latest Ubuntu image is like 2304, and you have a policy like the people should always use the 2304, which is the latest image. And when the resource created, you can see that in the log explorer that for compute instances creation, you can see the logs that you're trying to use this image. So here in the so this is like a resource type. We're looking for the GCP instance, and then here you can explore all the metadata which goes behind when the resource created or resource deleted. Here you want to filter out for the instances insert created for that particular event. And you also need to make sure that if it's on the first entry, when the operation perform, and you can filter on that. Yeah, here you go, the disk, which I'm talking about, the images what we are using for. So this will show if you're using the 2304 Ubuntu image, and make sure that all the parameters is fine. So I'm trying to create a policy where if the person is not using the Ubuntu 2304, so how the logs will gonna look like, and want to create a cloud function which makes sure that it checks, checks every time when somebody is trying to create a resource which is not using 2304. So I'm gonna give the name to the PubSub, log saying that not the latest image, and you can write the short description about the thing, and then sending that to the PubSub topic. So this is what gonna show the matching parameter, what we have seen in the log explorer. You can want to add some exception. You can filter out that, like maybe for a certain dev project, you don't want to be that in a place because the team want to use the older images for testing their application. So you can put an exception there as well if you don't want that to be part of this policy. Now we have the PubSub topic created. Now we want to trigger the cloud functions for the one which is not using the latest images. So here you can define all the parameters for the cloud functions, for the runtime, or maybe for the build, or maybe for something like that. Or if you have you need to pull out the keys or something from your vault server or something, you can define all the parameters there on the runtime or on the build time. So for this example, I'm using the Python code. You can use whatever the language you're comfortable with to write that. So basically, these functions when I use the Google API, which is for the stopping the compute instances. Maybe you can use the one for the notification purpose. And for this example, I'm just using the hard token one, hard coded one for this particular example. You can define whatever you want looking for, and then also there is an option where you have to mention the entry point for the functions to be in order to work, and then the requirement for this one you need to put the Google APIs. So you can also look for this API that's keep on changing depending upon the functionality coming up from the Google side. And then hit the deploy function. You can also define the IAM permission for that, just to make sure that you don't give up full permissions to your cloud function to perform all the tasks, and you can create a specific API, a specific IAM role for this particular task. So each and every task, maybe if you have a multiple cloud functions, or if you have a multiple policy you're looking for, you can create an individual role for each and everything. So it comes with the flexibility where you don't want to give the compute admin role for that particular task for the service account. You can use for like a compute instances creation or deletion or whatever. So you have like a narrow down for the each and every role, whatever the particular function is doing that, and you can filter out for the task. So that's also for the service account, and give only the role which is really required for these functions to be working and working for that particular one. I'm not giving the blind role. For this one, I'm just using the default one just for the demo purpose. Now let's look at the function. Hopefully it should be deployed by now. Yep. So our function is up and running. I'm gonna do the testing and create something which is not matching the organization policy. So here I'm just using the Debian Linux for this purpose, just to make sure that it's not matching to the image what we are looking for. And here the status still it's trying to generate that, and maybe it will take a couple of seconds. So you can see that the instance is gonna stop that. So if you let's look at the our logs, what happened in the background, what the function did that. So here it says the function execution is started, and and you can look at the time difference between the moment you hit that to create the compute instances versus the cloud functions took that from the pub sub topic and executed the function and stopping that creation of VMs because it's not matching to your organization policy. So finally, if you look at here, the instance is completely stopped. So do the auto remediation, but not only stopping the functions. Maybe if you want to auto correct it and force the user to use the golden image, or maybe if you have your custom images gonna use, you can also enforce that. Maybe for the cloud bucket, if somebody is putting that like a really dangerous permissions, you can also auto correct it and send a notifications to the user saying that you shouldn't be using that, and we have auto corrected it, this one. So still I think I'll just let to refresh it. So it's completely stopped. So stopping the user not to creating that that particular VM. So that coming to the takeaways, I mean, automate as much as possible, depend upon the requirement, depend upon the thing you can do that. Because for us, the automation is really important because of the dealing with the hundreds of thousands of account. You need to make sure that you monitor that thing. Also, make sure that you test the functions before deployment. You don't want to deploy it blindly where you stop the critical functions and you'll get start getting the notification saying that um, you're stopping the deployment. And also make sure that you keep those tool, whatever the functions we are writing it in a protected environment, or maybe a separate project, which is only for the security team, and don't give the other operations teams have access to that. So that's all the takeaways from my side. Yeah, thank you.